Good morning, everybody. Okay, I think I'm feeling better today. I don't feel like I'm in a daze, so we're good, I hope. Anyways, I thought what I would do, I haven't done it in a long time, is show you how to make a basic box. Just a basic box. And then I can show you some things from there. So we have to figure out what size do we want the box, right? So let's say we want it 5 inches square. Let me write this down. We want a 5-inch box. Okay. And let's say we want a 2-inch, what do you call it? Side. Okay, so this would be the bottom, and this would be the side. So, if we want 2 inches on the side, we have to take our 5-inch bottom. Here it is. That's going to be 5 inches. And then we have to add 2 inches on each side. So 2 inches and 2 inches. Okay? So you add that together, and so 2 plus 5 plus 2 is 9. So we need a 9-inch piece of paper, 9-inch square piece of paper. So if you need the bottom of the box to be exactly 5 inches, this is the way we're going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to do this one step at a time, and I'm going to save this piece of paper over here, so I'll bring in another one. So we need 9-inch square, right? So this doesn't go to 9 inches. Let me get a 12 by 12 piece. That's not it. There it is. I want a pretty sturdy, and this is Crafter's Companion 12-inch square card. So I want 9 inches by 9 inches. Okay. And now I'm going to score my 2-inch sides. Okay. So 9. Now you could bring it here to 2 inch. You could bring it here to 2 inch and score it. I don't know if I scored it straight. Let me look. 9. Did I cut that square? Looks like I was a little off. Just that little sliver, but that's okay. Okay. So now I need to score at 2 inches. So you could come here and make sure you don't use that cut. If you have a scoring board, you're golden. Use your scoring board. So 2 inches. Two inches. Two inches. And 2 inches. All right. So we have our 5-inch square in the middle, and we have our 2-inch around score. So now we need to cut And they always say, cut the score line off. So cut that score line off. But not both of them, because then you're cutting your tab off. So you pick one. Now I can do this one here, and I'll show you. I'm gonna cut that score line off. Cutting the score line off. So when I go to fold it this way, these are both gonna come in the same way. And if I fold it, these are both going to be in this way, right? I'll tell you something else in a minute. But if I do this, now I could do here, and that way they're all going to be there. So if I cut it here, no, if I cut here and here, the same as I did there, then all the tabs are going to be on these outside. If I do what I call like a windmill and alternate my sides, and I hope this doesn't get confusing. So I cut that score line off, and now I'm going to go to this one instead of this one. And you can do that all the way around, right? So you can either do it this way, so that they all come in to your tabs, or you could leave your tab on this side and they'll all come into the other side. Or you could do it where it's alternates. So this would go like this, and then this would go like this. And you get that extra support on each corner, right? On each panel is going to have that one little spot. I prefer them the same. I don't know why, but that's just how I usually do it. Now here's another thing. You will see people say, take this down. And I always thought, okay, so this is going to make sure, you know, you come, and then some of them will say, take this down, and you cut that down. Now you got a smaller tab, and you can just line up your corners, and you glue that, and it's there. But I was watching a show, and I believe it was Sarah on Crafter's Companion. And she said, leave it. Because now you know if you have your tops lined up, it's square, right? So I'm going to go with that because I believe that's true. It lets you know if you're going to have problems later on. Maybe you scored it a little short or whatever. So now I'm going to glue these down. If I have the glue in here to do it. Right, I'm going to glue my tabs in. Make sure my tops line up. And I know it's square that way. Because, and I'll show you in the next one, because this one I've already glued. Let me get a clip. Let me grab some clips here. Clips are always helpful for this so you can move on to your next step. So if I have, say it's like this, and I see this sticking up, I know that is not square. If it's down too much, I know it's not square. Something's off. See how that is not lining up? Something's off. So where am I off? Where am I off? Is it in the score line cut down? Let me go to these other ones and try. This one, you don't know because you've cut it away. So you don't know. But this side looks like it's just the tiniest bit taller. But we'll see what happens when we come over here. Not noticeable to most people, I don't think. But because I know that one didn't line up, I'm thinking that I may not have this perfectly square. Okay, let's see what happens here. See, there's a little bit over, so maybe I need to come up. It's just right there, something just the tiniest bit off. Maybe I didn't cut quite enough of the score line away. It looks like there might be a little bit of score line left on this. Even though I would have thought it would have been the other tab. Let me see if that does make a difference. Nope, that didn't make a difference. So I'm not perfectly square on this one, but guess what? It's close enough. It's very close. Something isn't perfectly square, but nobody's going to notice it. I can trim that little bit off if I want to, but it's really not even enough to trim it off. Okay. And glue on this tab. See, it's a little bit more noticeable on this one. So something isn't perfectly square on here, but it's still good. It's okay. I don't know why it's not perfectly square. Now we have our 5-inch bottom. So you see it's 5 by 5. Okay? Now we have to do our lid. So we know that we need that 5 inches for the lid. 5 inches for the top. And now, how big do we want our box to come down here? Do we want it to go all the way down? Do we want the other 2 inches? Or do we only want it to go 1 inch? I'm going to say I want it to go 1 inch on the sides. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Here's my 5 inches. I want 1 inch and 1 inch. So 5, 6, 7, right? That's 7 inches. Now this is the lid. So because it's the lid, it needs to be, let me grab a couple more clips in case I need them here. Because it's the lid, we want it to be just the tiniest bit bigger, right? So to be just the tiniest bit bigger for the lid, I'm going to go, so I need 7 inches, right? But that's going to put it smack on there tight. I'm going to go up just 1 notch. I think that's like 1/16 of an inch when I cut my paper. That's what I'm doing. Okay. And it's been so long since I do that, so I'm hoping this is big enough because it might be 1/8 I need. Okay, and just that one notch. And that's going to be my square now. Now, though, what I'm going to do is score. I'm still scoring the 1 inch. I'm not changing that. When I score this at the 1 inch, I'm leaving that little tiny bit of extra for this part. So I go to 1 inch. I think that's what I did is I scored. Probably didn't have it in the exact same spot when I scored. That's why a scoreboard is better than this, because you're using those lines. But making that little bit of extra for the lid can be in your cut. Some of the scoreboards have a lid side and a bottom side, and to me that's confusing. If you just cut your paper that little bit bigger, then you can use it all on the same side and it's not going to matter. So now I'm going to cut here and just cut that score line again out. And I don't think I quite had that score line. There we go. And the same on this side. And then I want to do the same here. I like to do this periodically because there are some people that don't know how to make just a basic box. And it's so easy and simple. And they think they need dies for it and all that stuff. And you really don't. Okay, so see, that's not lining up. That's not square. That's because I'm not lining my score line up perfectly, I think. So, the scoreboard, like I said, a scoreboard, you're probably not going to have these issues. I got to open the glue for the glue to come out. The first time I saw somebody do a box, they did what I call that windmill, where they did every other one, and the tab went on every other one. I was like, oh, wow, that's weird. And now I realize you don't have to do it that way. Most boxes are not made that way, but for some reason they did. Okay, just let this dry a little bit, and then we'll see how it fits on here. Now there's some bowing here. You're going to get that with your boxes probably, unless you have really, really, really thick paper. You're going to get some bowing. And when we're done with this, I'll show you the other one. What I actually prefer myself. All I need is for this to go on. Okay, let's see. So this was with like the 1/16 of an inch. And see? It fits perfectly. Just by doing the cut. Not worrying about this is the top and this is the bottom and score here for this and score here for that. You don't need to do all that. Just cut your paper a little bit taller and then still keep your score lines the same. You get that little tiny bit of extra space for your lid. Okay. Now let's do it a little bit different. So if you want nice finished edges on this, here's how you're going to do it. So you take your original numbers, right? That was 9. Now, it's going to take more paper. But when you see the result, you'll see why. We have a 2-inch, but what if we wanted to fold that paper over so we had a nice edge on there? And this depends how much you want it. I'm going to say a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch. So my 9-inch, now I'm going to add another inch to it, is going to become a 10-inch square. So, let me get my 12 by 12, and I'm going to make it, let me close this glue. I'm going to make it a 10-inch square. 10 inches by 10 inches. Okay. But now what I have to do is I have to score 2 different lines. So I'm going to score the 1/2 inch line. Oh, I don't want this. This needs to go out of the way. Okay, and I think that moved. Half inch. And then from the 1/2 inch side, now I have to put that at the 2-inch mark, right? And score there. So it becomes a little bit more, but wait till you see it. Okay, 1/2 inch. And then take the 1/2 inch and go line that up with the 2-inch. Right, turn it around, score it at 1/2 inch. It's been so long since I've done this, I hope I can do this okay. Take the 1/2 inch and line it up at the 2-inch. See, there's the 2-inch line. Make sure that's on the 2-inch line. Score. In one more time, 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to line that up with the 2-inch. Make sure that's lined up at the 2-inch. And score there. Now when I go to cut, I'm going to cut all the way to the inside line. Right? Should I do this one, the windmill? Okay. I hope I can. Just to give you an idea of how different that box is. You can see I kind of veered in a little bit and went back out. Okay. So what I'm doing is every other one, basically. And I was like, whoa, why did they do that? I don't know if there's a reason to do that. I just know that person does that. Okay, so now, when you go, you can fold your score lines. You can see this is going to go here, this is going to go here, this is going to go here. This is going to go in here, and this one's going to go in here, okay? We have the other score lines, right? But we don't need these ones. And cut it under the score line. There's a reason for that. Where you have your tabs, we're going to cut these long. Under the score lines. I really do hope I'm doing this right. I don't, it's been so long. I've gotten all these great boxes. Dies for these boxes. Okay, so now when I put my tabs in, right? When I put my tabs in, this is gonna fold down over it. See here? It's gonna fold down over your tabs. That's why your tabs don't need that fold line score on them. Right? If they have them, you're not going to be able to fold it. So there we go. So let's glue it together. And you can make your tabs as short as you want them to be. You can leave these on. You can take them off. Look, this is where that one crumpled. So might as well just cut that off. I don't need it. I'm just going to go ahead and cut all those at the score lines because I don't need them, and I might as well have it uniform inside. Okay. So I got my clips ready to go. Okay, so the tab. Now it's going to be harder to get your clips in here to hold it, right? Because you got that score line. You can go ahead and fold that score line, even though you got to come back and glue it. You want to make sure your tabs are going to hold. Look where I cut in, and I cut in too much on that one. Not hide my mistakes. You got to see it so you don't do it. I'm not gluing these down yet. I'm just gluing the tabs. I'm just folding it so I can get that clip on that tab. Now, you want to kind of make sure your tabs are laying flat. I've got one that's not laying flat. See it? I didn't cut that score line right. And it's not laying flat. But that's all right. Okay, now what I'm going to do is come through and do the folds. So I'm going to put my glue here. And this tacky glue will dry pretty quick, so, and I'm putting way too much glue, but that's all right too. Now I can stick these on here to hold it. My little bugs from Jane, I love them. Isn't that funny? Okay. I'm gonna need more clips. I don't mean, isn't it funny, the bugs? I mean, it was funny. What was funny? I don't remember now what I meant. But there was something. Oh, I had to put a clip here in the middle because it's a big enough box that it doesn't. That it needed that clip there in the middle. That one up because that's next. Boy, before I ever knew about clips or figured out about clips, I would hold this the whole time. Not necessary. Okay, so now we're going to wait for this to dry and we're going to do the lid. Now with the lid, we only have 1-inch sides, right? And here's one thing about the lids. I always feel a little bit different with the lids. I don't know why. Usually my lids are not as long as my box. I like it to look like a traditional box where the lid is a little bit shorter. But when I'm doing this fold on my lids, I like my lid, the fold in my lid, to be the same length as the lid. So when I do the lid, because I have it 1 inch, I want this to be that 1 inch. Now I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. I mean a little bit bigger, right? I'm going to add probably 1/8 of an inch because now we've got that fold. We need extra room for that. So we're going to add 1/8 of an inch. So now we have, it was 7, now it's going to be a 9-inch square. Okay? Because we're going to fold this over. But I might need to trim a little bit off that inch. But first, what I'm going to do is score that inch. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I need another 12 by 12 piece of paper, don't I? And like I said, this is still Crafter's Companion. Okay, so I need a 9-inch square. And this is an easy way without doing a bunch of figuring numbers and stuff. For me, anyways, it's easier than trying to figure, okay, and trim this little bit off and score it at this one and do that. No. I'm not that good with my math and my measurements, and I could figure it out, but it gets confusing, and yeah. I guess it's because I don't have the confidence in myself that I should have. Okay, so now I'm going to score at 1 inch for the outside fold. Take the cut thing down. I'm going to score at 1 inch. And from there, I'm going to the 1 inch line. And I'm going to score that. And I'm going to do this all the way around. I'm going to score at 1 inch. Do you know what I didn't do? I didn't cut it that little bit bigger. So I'm going to get another piece. Because I needed to go 9 inches plus the 1/8 of an inch for the top to be bigger. So 9 inches plus the 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so now I can score at 1 inch. Take that to the 1 inch line and score at 1 inch. But it's going to be 2 inches. So if you wanted to, you could like score it 2 inches, bring it back, and score it 1 inch. And that's easier. I was just trying to keep it simple for you, but let's get moving on this. This video is getting long. Okay, so 2 inch. And then bring it down to the 1 inch. And then here I'm going to score it to and bring it down to the 1 inch. Okay. So here's the other thing. It's going to be tight, right? Because it's 1 inch and 1 inch. So now I'm just going to shave. And I don't know if my blade is good enough right now, but just want to shave. See, it's not wanting to do it without doing that, but we're going to just do it anyways. Just so you see, there's a piece of paper in there. Just so you see what I'm talking about. I'm just shaving it. Just a tiny bit to take some of that tightness off. Right? You already got the score line on. So it's straight. Your score line's straight. Your inside fold might be a little crooked, but depends on how well you hold your paper straight. And I'm just shaving off the tiniest bit. And it's going to make it, it's basically going to be the same side. You just making allowance. You just make an allowance so that it's not too tight in there. Okay. Let me get this out of here because hopefully I won't need it again. Okay, so now with the scissors. Again, the same thing. You're going to come into both sides. You're going to go just outside that score line. Should I do the windmill thing again? I might as well. Just outside. That didn't go outside the score line on that side. So what I'm doing to do that alternative thing is just every other one. Skip one, right? Every other. So this is going to go in here, then I don't need this, right? Cut that off. It's up to you. If you want to leave it on, you can. So this is going to go in there. So this is going to come off. And I just did that wrong. Okay. This is going to come off. That's not cut on the score line. There we go. So that's going to come off. Oh, I'll trim that down. I don't usually trim it down quite that much, but man. Okay. So again, we're gonna do our flaps, right? We're gonna glue our flaps in. Oh, my clips are on the box still. Let me get some of these off because it should be glued pretty good by now. See? Okay, so the tap. Come on, glue. Here we go. And I'm gonna fold that down. Just so I can clamp it. I'm not gluing it. And you'll find out pretty quick if there's something wrong with your score line, if it's too big or whatever, because it won't go over it. See, that was kind of tight right there. See, it's a little tight. Ooh, that was a lot of glue right there. Uh-oh. Sometimes it could be tight for other reasons, but let me put this clamp on here. Okay. Now what I gotta do is get this fold out. Then it could be stuck already. Let's see. Because you got glue on the tap, so if it glued to some of that glue, it could stick it. So I'm just gonna run some glue inside that. All right. Try to get your folds nice and neat. I haven't really taken the time to burnish my score lines, even though I should have. I didn't. But we're doing the video, trying to be quick. This one, and see all that glue from there. See what's happening when I'm trying to be too quick. I am making a mess. Come on, fold over. go. Fold in and down. And you will take your time and you will burnish them better. And you won't be in such a hurry. Trying to put it on the wrong way. Now this one, I already put glue in. I got glue all over my hands now. Okay, we're gonna give this a minute to dry. What a mess. Ugh. Okay, but here's the box all dried and ready to go. And it just has a neater finish than this one. This is still acceptable and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you just want to dress it up just a bit, and if you have burnished your lines well enough, this will not be an issue. And if you wanted to do this one like I did the lid, where the crease goes all the way down, you do that. You might have to add paper, right? You might have to stick 2 pieces of paper. I don't know if there would have been enough to go all the way down. All right, there's the lid. No, this is the bottom of the box. This is the one. And then there's this lid, right? Just works. This was with a 1/16 of an inch bigger piece of paper. That's all it took. That's it. Okay, now we've got the lid. We got the first box. Now this one, I did an 1/8 of an inch bigger because I figure I got all these folds and this double paper and stuff, and I figured I would need that little bit of extra room, right? Because this has the fold too, right? So I need that little tiny bit of extra room. Let's see if it was enough. And there we go. And it's a nice fit, and it's not loose and wobbly, and, you know, it's not just gonna fall right off. And it's got a more finished look. So, a lot of it depends on time. How much time do you have to spend on it? You can get good enough at this that it doesn't really take that much time. Here's the difference looking at them square on. This one's wrinkly looking, and I'll tell you why. Because I put so much glue on. But I think it'll square out. And I didn't burnish it perfect. I didn't burnish either one of them, really. I just folded just to get on with the video. But it just has a more finished look to it. Now, there's nothing saying you can't do your box like this and have the more finished lid. You can, but again, go back to the bigger size if you're going to have the fold. Even though this is not as tight as this, it's still a good fit. See, it doesn't come off as easy as it did that one. So there you go. Box basics, hopefully simplified. All right, everybody. If you like my video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you join me again. Everybody have a blessed day. Bye-bye now.